It felt good to give my sister a present with some of my performance rewards. For Christmas, I gave her one of my payouts from FundedNext. I gave it to her for Christmas shopping. After a while, when you're trading, you kind of you don't really get obsessed about losing. I don't think trading should dominate your life. I think if you're doing it properly, it should add to your life. It should hopefully allows you to have more freedom. If you have a strategy that works, you should be able to work from anywhere. My name is Daniel. I'm from Cork, Street in Cork. It's like a small enough town around an hour from Cork City. And I'm in college in Dublin. I'm in Management Science and Information Systems, and I'm in fourth year. So Management Science and Information Systems, it's like a mixture of like kind of maths and computer science. And yeah, I think that's helped me a lot with trading, the stuff I learned in my course. Yeah, I've always been interested in like stuff like betting and stuff like that. I kind of just started looking at cryptocurrencies on TradingView and like testing all the different strategies out, and some of them actually like worked very well. And I just kind of started playing around with loads of different strategies on TradingView. They're very simple strategies, but I made ones then that were like a little bit more complicated, and they worked a lot better. But even the ones on TradingView worked fairly well on a lot of like cryptocurrencies a few years ago. I think the gym probably helped me a bit for trading futures, and maybe sticking to a plan and like following it for a few months, and like seeing all your hard work turn into results. It's a bit like trading, following your plan, and after a few months, or like even every month, you should be up with your P&L. I suppose they're similar that way. And so maybe being sick as well helped me to be resilient. And I think it's good to be resilient with trading, because some days, even if you're doing everything right, you can still lose money. Maybe on my course I learned a good bit about probability and stuff like that. So I think that's probably a good way to go looking at trading, with a probability mindset. And yeah, I learned it on my course, so I was just lucky to be exposed to that. So yeah, probably just the probability and stuff I learned from a course. Probably I was diagnosed with cancer when I was around 21, so probably that. I had to take a year out of college and do chemotherapy and all that, so yeah, that was tough. But at the same time, I had a lot of time at home and I couldn't get a job, so I had loads of time to focus on trading. Yeah, it's lymphoma, yeah, so that's not the worst one to get, but yeah, you probably still rather wouldn't get it at all. I just had 12 rounds of chemo, and now I'm grand now again. It's a fairly curable cancer to have. So just before I was 21, yeah, just before Christmas of 2023, it was 6 months on chemotherapy, and but you'd still be a bit kind of worn down. So probably took another 6 months to get like back to normal afterwards. So maybe like a year in total from when I was diagnosed. I'd say kind of puts things into perspective. Like, if you have a bad day trading or something, and you lose a bunch of money, like I suppose maybe taught me to not really care too much. I'd be good at getting over stuff like that. I wouldn't be too bothered if I had a bad day of trading, because maybe being that sick probably helped me put things in perspective, I think, yeah. My first performance reward from FundedNext Futures, I can't remember, like probably like $1,500 or something like that. But since August, I think I received, I think 103,000 in performance rewards from FundedNext. So I think it's just down to following good strategy, and even throughout those few months, I had a lot of losing weeks, but as soon as my sample size of trades got big enough, I always ended up reaching new highs in my P&L. It felt very good to receive my first reward from FundedNext. I suppose it was nice that FundedNext are very trustworthy, and they're a legitimate company, and they'll always pay you, and it was nice to see that all the hard work I put into my strategy was paying off in real life. How did I spend my performance reward? I just saved it and reinvested it into more challenges to gain access to more funding. I didn't really I haven't bought anything besides like food, and investing into more challenges with the performance rewards I've gotten so far. But I'll help it to pay for expenses while I'm at college. It felt good to pay my own rent and to take a burden off my parents. It was very nice of my parents to pay for my college and everything like that. It felt good to give my sister a present with some of my performance rewards. For Christmas, I gave her one of my payouts from FundedNext. I gave it to her for Christmas shopping, and she was delighted at buying stuff off clothes websites online. I don't really trade support and resistance and turning points. I think a lot of people trade stuff like that. I think that's a very subjective way to trade. What one person thinks is support on a chart, someone else might think it's resistance. That's not the approach I take to trading. The approach I take to trading is very, I suppose, very analytical, and I test everything on my computer. I use Python and stuff like that to backtest strategies, and I don't just draw lines on a chart or anything like that. I try to work out my exact edge. So I don't really use support resistance. That's not the strategy I use. A typical day in my life would be starting in the morning. I don't really get up that early. I probably get up at around maybe 11 or 12 even. Then normally I would turn on the computer straight away and see how my trades did from last night. Then a lot of the time I either put on some more trades or else kind of just see how things are going and maybe plan on putting on the trade soon. I'd probably do that for like a few minutes first after I first get up. Then I make a coffee and drink that. Then I probably get a breakfast then after I do my first 10 minutes straight to bed. I probably don't really go to too many lectures at the moment because I spend most of my time trading and looking at charts and like refining my strategies. I think that it needs a strict routine in executing your strategy. I don't think you need to go for cold showers or anything like this. Like, I just think that you need to have a strategy that has an edge, and I think you just need to execute that strategy perfectly. I don't think you need to have any like strict routine besides doing your strategy properly, no. Well, I balance classes, trading and gym by not going to too many classes, but I just look at the notes online. Our college posts the notes onto this online website, so I can just not really go to too many and catch up then with the online notes. With the gym, I normally go between 9 and 11 when the market is closed and you can't trade anyway. I don't think trading should dominate your life. I think if you're doing it properly, it should add to your life. It should hopefully allows you to have more freedom. If you have a strategy that works, you should be able to work from anywhere. So maybe you could use trading to allow you to travel, or else to have maybe financial freedom. You can make a lot of money with trading. So I think it should allow you to either get more financial freedom or else freedom of where you work or something like that. When my weekends when the markets are closed, I normally just relax, catch up with some college work, and sometimes I just kind of just relax and do nothing, go to the gym and just do college work. That's kind of it. I think I do switch off from trading mentality. Yeah, I suppose you'd be thinking about it a lot, like thinking about a new strategy that might work, or not even trading. You might be thinking about some other sort of strategy on maybe on poker, or maybe not poker, but like on some prediction site, you might be thinking about some way you can get an edge, or so I suppose it'd always be in the back of your mind. But yeah, no, I do switch off on the weekends. Yeah, I just think I think I'm naturally curious. I think I've always been entrepreneurial. I used to sell cookies in school when I was 10. I also used to go busking in Cork City, and I used the money to buy these little motorbikes. And we live out in the country, so we used to. There's like a wind farm near our house, so we used to drive around the wind farm with the motorbikes we bought for our busking. I also used to buy drones online and make videos with them and upload them to YouTube. I bought a furnace as well online and melted down scrap copper from the recycling centre and made like bronze swords and stuff. So I just think I've naturally always been curious and entrepreneurial and like trying out new things. It's right. Well, I'm not really sure exactly what that question means, but if that means how often do I change my edge, I think maybe how often do I change my strategy? Well, as long as my strategy is working, then I don't change it. But if I thought my edge was decaying and generating less expected value, then I'd probably try and find out why it's making less expected value, or is it because something has changed in the market that is making my strategy not work as well? I suppose you're constantly like monitoring how it's doing and changing and updating it. So I probably do it without even thinking about it. Probably every week. Like he's always very curious about different things and figuring out how to do different things. He liked maths and he's always interested in making money. I didn't think he'd make any money. Yeah, when I saw him making as much money, then yeah, that motivated me to start as well. Did I believe in his edge early on? No, I didn't think he knew what he was doing early on, because most people lose loads of money doing this, so no, I didn't. How different are my thoughts? Well, now I guess they're pretty similar. What makes Daniel different from most people? I suppose he's better at finding new things than other people, and maybe like thinking independently from, or he comes up with his own mind instead of listening to how other people might say to do something. My goal in life is to just make enough money to be financially free when I'm young, and then once I have enough, maybe invest it and I don't know, see what I do then. But I suppose it'd be nice to have financial freedom anyway. Yeah, I think if you're following a good routine in the gym and you're doing things right, you'll see the right decisions you're making will convert into good progress over months and especially years, the longer you do it. And it's the exact same with training. If you have a good strategy that works, you on day to day you can't really see progress, but when you zoom out to the weeks and the months, that's when you see all the progress. Then, well, I suppose discipline can be applied to many areas. Like discipline is just maybe doing things that you don't really feel like doing, because you know in the long term it's probably the best decision. So in the long term, if you want to be fit and healthy, you make the sacrifice to go to the gym even when you're tired and don't feel like it. With trading, you might close the trade when it's losing, even though you really don't want to, or you might make decisions that is just part of your strategy, even though you don't want to do it. But after a while, when you're trading, you kind of you don't really get upset about losing. Like, you just know that that's kind of part of it. Like, and at the start, I used to get a lot more upset when I had days that I lost money, but now I don't really care as much. Like, it's kind of just part of the strategy. Giving to charity, I suppose if I have more than enough, then I suppose I wouldn't mind giving away a bit of money to people in need.